We've talked, and we think it's best if you stay away for now. My family sent a group message, no explanation. No gratitude. Just a dismissal. I replied, understood, I'll respect that, and step away from the family entirely. Take care. That night, I closed their $87,000. The curry was still warm. My laptop is still open. My head is still spinning from work. Then my phone buzzed. A new group message from my entire family. Mom wrote first. Short, surgical, cold. We've talked, and we think it's best if you step away for now. Rebecca needs space. We all do. My aunt replied with a thumbs up. My uncle wrote, hard but necessary. Dad said nothing. His silence hit harder than any words could. Hi, my name is Lauren Mitchell. I'm 32. Oldest daughter. Consultant. Family fixer by default. I sat at my kitchen table. Leftovers cooling. Hands shaking. I read the message 3 times. Then I typed 8 calm words. Understood. I'll step away. Take care. No anger. No begging. No explanations. Just a door closing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling. If they wanted me gone, then I would go completely. At 3:07 a.m., I opened my laptop, logged into the family fund. The fund I'd managed for 5 silent years. I canceled the auto transfer, moved the balance, then closed the account. 1 click. 5 years erased. At sunrise, my phone exploded. 89 missed calls. Dad's voice cracked in the voicemail. What happened, Lauren? The bank flagged everything. Mom couldn't get her insulin. Rebecca's rent bounced. Everyone was panicking. I replied once. Only once. I'm honoring your decision. They cut me out at 7 p.m., so I cut off $87,000 at 3:07 a.m. And that's where this story begins. If you're watching quietly tonight, this is Echoes of Life, where survival stories finally get a voice. Before we go on, tell me where you're watching from. City, state, or country. To explain that night, I have to go back 5 years. Back to the moment I became the family's quiet oxygen tank. It started with Rebecca. Second hospital. Realization in 18 months. Panic attacks so severe, she couldn't leave her apartment. Dad called me at 9 p.m. crying in a pharmacy lot. They won't admit her, Lauren. Insurance is refusing everything. We're out of money. I wired $15,000 in minutes. My entire emergency fund. My whole safety cushion. Everyone praised her recovery. No one mentioned my name. Then Mom's diabetes worsened. Medication she couldn't afford. Appointments she skipped. To save money. Dad's hours were cut. Then cut again. Then gone. Every new emergency landed in my hands first. $50 here. $300 there. Then rent. Then therapy. Then utilities. Then everything. My life shrank to a spreadsheet of sacrifice. I downgraded my apartment, skipped vacations, lived on cheap food, worked 70 to 80 hours weekly to keep everyone afloat. They never asked how I was doing. Not once. Family dinners felt like meetings. Rebecca's crisis. Dad's job search. Mom's numbers. Never me. Every boundary I suggested turned me into the villain. You don't understand real struggle. Easy for you to judge. You're lucky you're stable. Lucky. As if stability hadn't cost years of my life. By year 3, my monthly help neared $1,800. Plus emergencies. Plus guilt. Plus silence. And still, it was never enough. They didn't see my exhaustion. Not the hours. Not the loneliness. Not the daughter. Slowly disappearing. So they could breathe. They weren't draining my money. They were draining me. Some breaking points are loud. Mine arrived on a quiet Tuesday, not with a fight, but with a spreadsheet. Cells and numbers, highlighted in yellow and red. Glowing at midnight. I started tracking everything. Every transfer. Every bill. Every just this once. Not to build a case, but to stay sane. The totals climbed fast. Month after month. My life bled into theirs. Rent support. Prescriptions. Therapy. Tires. Deposits. late fees, overdraft rescues. Meanwhile, my own savings barely moved at all. My friends planned trips. I planned payment schedules. They posted beach photos. I refreshed account balances at 1 a.m. I told stories on echoes of life, about boundaries and healing. Then closed the laptop and paid another emergency bill. The more I documented, the harder it was to lie to myself. This wasn't generosity anymore. It was quiet self-erasure. Whenever I asked for receipts, the pushback came fast. You don't trust us? We're not your employees. Why are you policing everything? But I'd seen too much waste to keep pretending. DoorDash instead of groceries. New earrings instead of copays. Craft beer instead of past due electric. The fund became their cushion. Never ours. No one offered to deposit. No one asked what I'd skipped. To keep it full. So, I made copies. Bank statements. Screenshots. Voicemails. Texts with subject lines. I could recite from memory. Just until Friday. Can you spot me? I'll pay you back soon. Soon never came. I backed everything up to a private drive. Part of me hoped I'd never need it. Another part knew better. That part was tired of being gaslit by people I loved. At work I nodded. Through budget meetings, executives praised my clarity. While my own accounts were bleeding out, I ate lunch alone. With my laptop open, reconciling their chaos, line by line. Sometimes I wondered, if I was the problem, maybe I was selfish, maybe I was dramatic. Then I'd scroll the spreadsheet and watch the totals jump, month after month. The truth was right there, colder than any apology. They'd never say. On our monthly video calls, I smiled on command. I muted the mic. To breathe through panic. They debated wellness retreats, new apartments, and upgraded phones. Not once did anyone ask if I had plans beyond paying their bills. That's when the idea formed. If they ever questioned my memory, I would have proof, not to shame them, to keep myself from rewriting history. I wasn't preparing for revenge. I was preparing for the moment. They'd pretend none of this happened. If this were your family, what would you do? Comment 1 to keep peace quietly. Comment 2 to ask for proof. Even in public. The break didn't come from shouting or slammed doors that night. It arrived quietly, wrapped inside a single group message on my phone. I had just come home exhausted after another impossible client meeting. The microwave hummed. Leftover curry turned slowly in the dark kitchen. My phone buzzed once with a notification I almost ignored. It was the family group chat. Everyone included. No one missing. Mom's message sat at the top, blunt enough to stop my breath. We've talked and we think it's best if you step away for now. No explanation followed. No kindness. No attempt at clarity. Within seconds my aunt reacted with a lazy thumbs up emoji. Uncle Jim added, "This is hard but necessary." Like a judge delivering sentence. Dad stayed silent, which somehow hurt more than anything he could have said. I read the message 3 times before my brain caught up. My dinner went cold while my hands shook around the phone. I typed one sentence that felt heavier than anything I'd written. Understood. I'll step away entirely. Take care. I didn't ask what I'd done wrong or why they chose now. I didn't ask why my future was discussed without me present. I just honored their decision even if they never meant it fully. At 3:07 a.m., staring at my ceiling, the rest finally landed. Stepping away from the family meant stepping away from their finances too. So I opened my laptop and logged into the support account. For 5 years I'd paid rent, utilities, prescriptions, co-pays, emergencies, everything. Every crisis went through me before it ever touched them. Now the balance read 3-toned with 1,500 scheduled for morning. My heartbeat felt strangely calm while the cursor hovered over close. I canceled the transfer, moved the balance, and shut the fund. 10 minutes of quiet clicks erased 5 years of unpaid sacrifice. By sunrise my phone exploded with missed calls and frantic messages. Dad's voicemail cracked while he asked why the mortgage payment bounced. Mom's text said the pharmacy refused her insulin without funds in place. Rebecca accused me of sabotaging her life without any warning. Not one of them mentioned their own message from the night before. They wanted distance from my boundaries, not from my bank account. They expected my love and money to stay, even if I left. For the first time in years, I let both walk away. The calls didn't stop after I closed the fund. They just changed from worried to vicious. "You're abandoning us." Rebecca sobbed in one voicemail. Mom said I'd turned cold. Dad said success had gone to my head. For a week, I ignored them. I slept badly. Then one text cut through the noise. "Please join one more family call. We need to talk." Mom, of course. Some stubborn part of me still wanted repair, so I logged into Zoom that Thursday night. The moment my camera connected, my stomach dropped. Dad paced behind her like a trapped bear. "Why did you do this to us?" Rebecca blurted. "You knew we depended on that fund. You knew I'd miss payments." I let her talk herself empty. Then I opened the folder on my desktop labeled Family Support. "I want you all to see something," I said. I shared my screen. The spreadsheet filled their monitors. 5 years of dates and payments, rent, prescriptions, therapy, utilities, car repairs, legal retainers, security deposits, groceries. Each line of night I stayed late at work. Each line of vacation I never booked. Each total of boundary I never set. At the bottom sat one number. $87,421.13. Nobody spoke. "You kept score," Mom whispered, finally horrified. "No," I said. "I kept records. To remember why I'm exhausted. To understand why I have no savings." Dad reached for his favorite line. "Family helps family. You can't put a price on that." "You didn't," I answered. "I did. Alone." The call ended with more tears than words. I thought that was the worst they could do. The certified letter arrived Saturday morning. "Urgent fraud investigation," screamed from the bank letterhead. Inside was an application for an $80,000 business loan. My name. My social security number. A fake company called Lauren Grace Recovery Services. The signature almost matched mine. Almost. Mom and Dad were listed as co-signers. I read the packet twice. Hands shaking. They hadn't just used my money. They had tried to use my identity too. That afternoon, I made another list. Not of payments this time, but of moves. Freeze my credit. Call the bank fraud line. File a police report. Alert the IRS. Change every password. Save every voicemail. Print every message. The detective who took my statement looked tired and kind. "Family fraud is more common than people think," he said. "You did the right thing closing that account. It probably saved your future." I stepped out of the station into sharp evening air. For the first time, the weight on my chest wasn't guilt. They wanted my money, my name, and my silence. They lost all three. A year later, the emergencies finally stopped living in my phone. Some mornings I still grabbed it, expecting sirens that never came. Silence felt wrong. Like missing a step on the stairs. Coffee stayed hot because I wasn't answering pharmacies mid-zip anymore. I finally booked therapy for myself, not for Rebecca's crises. We talked about obligation, guilt, and the word enough said firmly. My therapist asked when I first learned love meant rescuing everyone. They sacrificed, so I believed I should sacrifice without limits. Breaking it felt like betrayal until breathing slowly started easier. I moved apartments. Nothing fancy. Just somewhere that finally felt mine. I took a 3-day trip to the coast, completely alone. Just ocean noise, cheap sandals, and sleep that actually restored me. For the first time, rest didn't feel like stealing from someone. If you're new, I'm Lauren, and this is Echoes of Life. I share these stories so someone like me feels less alone. Not the golden child, not the victim, just the stable one. Family didn't break the spell. Documentation and distance finally did. I stopped confusing being useful with being loved or safe. My love is no longer a pipeline. It's a choice I keep. I didn't lose a family that night. I walked out of a cage. If this resonated, please like the video. Share it with someone exhausted who might need this boundary today. And subscribe to Echoes of Life to stay for the next story.